Hi everyone, welcome to RPA Explorers channel.
In today's video, we are going to look at a simple Excel automation. So now let's understand the use case. I have a sample Excel which has a sheet 1 and with two different columns, first name and last name. So our task is to add the full name in the column C. So it's like we have to concatenate first name and last name and add it in the column C. So let's see how you can do this in the studio. So in the studio I have already added my Excel connector and I'm using an open method to read the Excel. Previous can refer my previous video to how you can read Excel and add this connector. So now the next step is to loop through the Excel. So I can go to toolbox and type for loop. So you'll get for each and for loop, and I'm going to use for loop, and it requires two input parameters of type integer. From it's starting from the index 2. As we know, first index has the column header, so we are going to provide the from index as 2, and in order to get the 2 index we are going to use a method to find the rows count. So can type in row, so we'll use this rows count. The parameter here, and the sheet name is sheet 1. Now the next step is to add the column header to the C, for which we are going to use set cell value to set the value. Again, you have different ways to add headers. I'm going to use that set cell value, and you can pass this. So let's call it as full name. Next step is to get the values from the column A and B. So I'm going to use get row values. And also I have already created a variable for this index, so we can configure it. So right click on this and you can configure it, rows count. And the next parameter of get row values is row number, so I'm going to pass the row number from here. So okay, sorry, this is dt index, so we'll pass the index number here. So now the next step is to add the columns to read it. So we'll add the columns here, which is column A and B. So we are going to provide A. Let's close this. Next we'll format the column A and B and add it in the column C, for which I'm going to use format text. So you can click on this setting at the top, and we are going to add the A, which is A, and there should be a space and the next parameter which is B. So this is like you can add multiple parameters and you can provide your string value here. So I'm going to add column A space and then column B. Then we'll add the parameters here by clicking on this plus. So parameter 0 is your A and 1 is your B. So now the final step is to add the values to the column C. So we'll go to the method and you can search for set or rows. So we are going to use set row values. We'll pass the sheet name, and I'm going to use the variable from for loop, which is dt index, and again you have to give the column name, which is column C, and we'd add the value. So once everything is done, we have to close the Excel as well. Since we are opening it, I'm going to close the Excel using the close method. You can add it at the end of the for loop. So now let's run the process. Okay, so now it has completed and it has closed the Excel as well. So let me quickly open the Excel, which is Concatenate Excel. Okay, so now we have the expected output in the column C. So it has added the concatenated value of column A and B. So this is the basic and simple use case to understand the Excel connector. So in the future video, let's see more use cases using Excel and its method. I hope you guys find this video useful. So we'll see in the next video with a different use case, and thank you so much for watching this video.